we are ruled by people who hate us in every way. Like this, this basically is a curse at this point. And they also don't even have like any moral character. They don't even try to really be upright or upstanding. I mean, you see it with the AI data center stuff. Like everybody's showing up to these meetings who like care about their community or like the future of their country or just something. Like there's a bigger picture there, right? Like the average person has a good enough mind on them to where they can see that, okay, maybe we shouldn't be destroying nature because downstream from that is a farm and people will die without food. Whereas the leaders of society currently just hate us at every step of the way. I mean, they do. Like they are actively they are actively destroying everything. Number one, but also their short-sightedness is just incredible. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. Like they can just do stuff without seeing the big picture. I think that's sort of hilarious. They have no like because let's look at the leaders throughout America's history. Is that some of the best leaders we had have had some moral character. Now, once again, whether that be good or bad, like JFK, right? Is that he was a good leader for the sense that like he understood what needed to be done when taking care of evil, but yet he himself was engaged in like sexual immorality with what's her face, the blonde lady, I can't remember her name, Marilyn Monroe. Even the whole thing with like George Washington, right? Where like he had a very good understanding of moral character. Now it can be debated whether like he was a Freemason or not. I tend to personally believe that he was a Christian just because of his story, but yet the people that surrounded him basically worship him like a deity. I mean, you can see that in I think it's the Congressional Building. I'm not 100% sure, but there's a painting of him on the ceiling that's like depicting him as God, which obviously is wrong. But what I'm saying is like the leaders we have today are just like Saturday morning cartoon villains. They're just so ass at everything they do. They're not even like literally the movies that are made have better villains than whatever the fuck is happening in real life. It's just sad. And I think honestly the sadder part is that we don't even try to push back against them. We don't like everybody I see it all the time. Everybody loves to be like, "Oh yeah, we're taking them down this time." And then it's like, "Okay, like then what the fuck are you doing?" Right? Like what are you doing? Ranting and raving and being like, "Guys, it's all over. There's nothing we can do." Like I hate that shit. That shit actually makes me mad because everybody throughout history actually did shit. So why are we the first ones to be like, well, it's just up for us, guys. It's over now. Like, no, it's not. We can do these things. We have the ability to do the right thing. And got to be careful with my words because I can't say I advocate or disapprove of something. Obviously, you can tell by just the way I'm talking, I am an advocate of something. But we can't we can't like say, and that's what sucks too, is that like we literally have to stay in the shadows. Like our leaders are assholes, they're bastards, they're actively like Jeffrey Epstein and them, they're like Satanists. Like they won't come out and say it, but like, okay, what else could they be doing when they sacrifice things, right? Like, sacrifice is a form of worship of some deity in some way, right? And obviously people can say, like Abraham and Isaac, where, Abraham sacrificed Isaac or was attempting to, but, at the same time is that God was trying to show us that he was going to sacrifice his own son. So like all these other groups are doing it out of malicious intent, whereas God is trying to right the ship back up, right? He's trying to bring us back to him. So I just get so pissed off because the leadership is just so fucking incompetent. It's incredible. They're so incompetent. I mean, look at, I'm not really like a Democrat or Republican, but just look at like our military or like look at our structure. Our structure is getting destroyed, or like our military structure is getting destroyed by a third world nation, Iran, in the Middle East, with like Looney Tunes style traps where like they're spray painting a fucking plane on the ground and we're striking it with like a $2 million rocket. It's like it's incredible, really. It's like in the Looney Tunes movies or the show where they would take a I don't know, fucking Roadrunner would paint a tunnel and the wolf would run into it. Like, it's just so fucking retarded. And I mean that actually is like a positive thing. Like, it's so retarded that shit is working. It shows the brilliance of them, right? And I'm not trying to essentially pat a Islamic regime on the back or anything, but like you got to give them kudos where you got to give them kudos, right? They're very inventive for that, or like the cost of their weaponry compared to ours. They may actually understand conflict. They may actually have a head on themselves, surprisingly, for as supposedly backwards as they're being. And I really do think a lot of we became weak because of what we have, right? Like, there's that saying where it's like, strong men create strong times create weak men, and so on and so forth. You know the saying. So, we sort of are seeing that actively where like the boomers had a very good time. And granted, yes, every so often gas prices would go up or like whatever, or like, them serving in Vietnam, which I feel for the Vietnam soldiers. I feel for the Iraq vets, people like that. Like, it's just a shame that we went from such a high society where a janitor could essentially buy a house and have a family of 4 and be able to send those kids to college, to now we have doctors living with other doctors to pay rent. It's just insane. It's so sick and twisted just to be a cash cow for somebody else. I mean, that's what you feel like. You feel like a cash cow. And I think the worst part is that when you tell them that, they spit in your face, or they're like, just get better. It's like, no, how about you fuck your face and before we do. So I don't mean to be so violent or so rude, but these people need to understand that we are way smarter than they are. Way are. Like they're just like, oh, these people, like, they never expect something where like, okay, now we have the ability to just track where you are. Like, you could just track a politician and be like, okay, we know that they stop at their favorite place is a Starbucks. Well, we know they go every Tuesday. Okay, so just prop yourself up outside and just say hello to them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they mistake our intent, because our intent is to be nice, and they mistake our kindness for inability of action, right? I'm trying to think of the right word, but hopefully it makes sense. But yeah, like their ability to just step on you and be like, yeah, fuck you. It's like, no, how about no, right? We want to be nice to you, but sometimes you're an asshole. So I just get a little worried with things getting out of hand, especially because what it looks like to me is it looks like the surveillance state is being set up. So like they're being nice, right? Or as nice as they can be without ripping the mask completely off, because they know that once the surveillance state is completely set up, then they can do things like without the mask being on. Like, they can just push policies and laws that would benefit them without having to go through certain things, because then they could be like, oh, this person's saying whatever, like me, right? They'll be like, oh, Cole's saying that action needs to be taken. Well, let's just pay him a visit. And I hope they fucking do. I hope they do. So, don't mean to sound like a schizophrenic or anything, but yeah, like that shit really pisses me off, because they are lesser. Like, they don't even try to have any moral standing. I mean, you ask a lot of them about what they believe, and they fight for other countries. And this was a curse actually in ancient Israel, in the Old Testament. This was a curse. So I wonder if we're being cursed by God because of our lack of faith. And I know that sounds silly. I'm sure I'm gonna get all sorts of comments. Actually that has nothing to do with it. Like, no, realistically, like, because of our actions, we have cursed ourselves in this. I mean, just look at the Old Testament. Like, here, I'm going to pull up, hopefully my mouse works here, but I'm going to pull up some of the curses and just read them off right now. Yeah, so this is kind of a shit one. There was a better one I saw, but yeah, in Deuteronomy 28, I guess it talks about the curses upon the city and field. You will be cursed in the city and cursed in the country. Deuteronomy 28:16. And you see that, right? Like our cities are like polluted. We pollute our country, like just the countryside with like pesticides and everything else. Curses upon our food. That was sort of goes hand in hand, I guess, with that. Your basket and your kneading through will be cursed. Like our food is not our fucking food anymore, right? You're basically eating whatever the company is that makes whatever food. I don't want a defamation case against me. A shit product from a shit company. Curses upon having children upon livestock. Our populations have gone down in this country, and a lot of that, of course, comes back to the dating market and how much we're able to make and things like that. But like, even our cattle are sick. Right? It says here, the fruit of your womb will be cursed, and the crops of your land, and the calves of your herds, and the lambs of your flocks. Deuteronomy 28:18. So there's a little bit of like there's a parallel here between us and what happened. Curses during travel and at times and at all times. I'm sure you can make correlations to that. It says you will be cursed when you come in and cursed when you go out. Deuteronomy 28:19. And a lot of these curses had to do with us not, or with them rather, not holding fast to the command of God, which, they say the commandments, but I wonder how much of that was to just remind ourselves or remind themselves of the Ten Commandments rather than to holding fast to the Ten Commandments, because the Ten Commandments are supposed to point us to Christ. They're not supposed to make us be like, the law will save us. Like the law won't. It's Christ who will save us. So, yeah, a little bit of a truth nuke. So, whatever. Hope you guys like that.